Hey, what's up, guys? I just wanted to make a video tonight for you. I've been getting a lot of messages and emails from parents that I guess they watch my videos and they want to talk about their kid. A lot of husbands and wives also, like either their husband or wife is going through withdrawal and they want some advice about what to do. And I've noticed a pattern here. Um, when I talk to some of you guys, I don't think you have any clue how just mind-bogglingly painful it is to attempt to take your body off of an opiate once it's addicted. Just the unbelievable amount of pain that they go through. It's really hard to even get a slight grasp of it if you've never experienced it. Before I ever went through withdrawal, I couldn't imagine in my mind why these people couldn't get off of drugs. I had very little sympathy for them. And I just want to tell you guys about something I read today. So I was reading this book called The Men That Stare at Goats. It sounds stupid, but it actually has some good information in there. I know they made a stupid movie with George Clooney off of this book. But in the book, this writer or journalist, Jon Ronson, he investigated a lot of the stranger things that the government has done in the past, like experiments they did and torture techniques they used, and just a lot of weird and strange stuff that the government has done, over the past 100 years. So in this book, it mentioned that they used heroin on when they would capture a spy that was resistant to torture. And what they would do is they would use morphine, I think, not heroin. Same thing though. Basically, any opiate is going to have a very similar effect on the body when you're going through withdrawal. So they would give morphine to a prisoner, or if they captured like a high-ranking German SS officer, and they would get them addicted to morphine and then withdraw them from morphine, and they would start talking instantly. So the torture didn't get them to talk. Being electrocuted, waterboarded, held without sleep, water, food for weeks, all the horrible things you can think of they were doing, and that didn't do it, but morphine did. Morphine withdrawal did it for him. So does that kind of make sense to you guys? Like these guys were resistant to torture, but going through withdrawal was too much for them to take. We're talking about like the hardest, most badass, disciplined, trained warriors, and opiate withdrawal was too much for them to take. Another thing you could do, and this is not something I take lightly, like I won't suggest that you watch this if you are, if you're easily, disturbed by, I guess not even easily, if you're disturbed by horrible imagery, then don't watch this. But if you want to get some empathy for your child or your husband or your wife or your boyfriend or your girlfriend, your grandson, whoever it is, that's going through opiate withdrawal, look up babies going through withdrawal. A lot of there's so much opiate addiction now that mothers are getting on opiates and they're pregnant and they can't get off. There's no assistance to help them get off. There's no rehabs available, so they stay on opiates while they're pregnant. They have kids, and the kids are addicted to heroin when they're born, and they immediately withdraw these babies. I think in a way that is barbaric. They force the babies to go through withdrawal to try to get the drugs out of their system as quickly as possible. And watching these babies scream and shake and cry, a scream that is just something that stays in your mind for days. Just thinking about it right now, I feel sick. I feel nauseous thinking about this. And I think sometimes we forget that at one time everyone was, an innocent child. And all these things in life, they say that 80 something percent of opiate addicts had abuse in their past of some sort, or had some sort of trauma in their past. We're talking about sick people that have a disease that actually makes them turn despicable. They do things while they're addicted that they would never do when they were sober. They become people that we don't like anymore. I became a person I didn't like when I was on heroin. And it's easy to forget that they were once an innocent baby, or, you know, a child that was innocent. And all this shit they've done in between then and now has messed a lot of that up. But that doesn't mean we shouldn't have compassion for them. And if we're really trying to help them, we should try to understand what they're going through, or have some sort of idea of what they're going through, so we don't push them in ways that are impossible. Like, you know, thinking that our husband's going to get off heroin during a 3-day weekend and then go back to work on Tuesday. That just is not how it works. This has been going on for hundreds of years. People that get addicted to opiates, opium, it's a very, very, very malicious, vicious thing. It's also a great thing for, you know, in war, or when someone's dying, if they can have that extreme relief from pain. But this class of drugs is unlike anything else, you guys. You could lock a priest in a room, or a military sergeant in a room for a week or two, and they would become an opiate addict for the rest of their lives. So I'm just trying to convey that, you know, we could have a little bit more sympathy for them, even if they're being little bastards or little shits at the time, you know, or stealing or doing all the things that addicts do. There's only so many chances you can give someone, and I do understand that, and that people need to have their own boundaries. If your kid is stealing, or if your husband is high around your kids, there's only so much you can take. But at least try to understand that what they're fighting against is something that is almost impossible to defeat. It's really like climbing Mount Everest for them to try to get off once you're addicted to opiates. So let's just try to have some compassion. All right. Good night, guys.